is around December of 2017, and in the UK at that time, we had like really bad snow, and to be honest, we haven't had snow like that ever since then. So it was a Saturday, and I remember waking up, like it was pure white outside. It was beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. Snow everywhere, covering, all the streets. Obviously the road was a bit sludgy because cars, etc. were just driving. But apart from that, like my whole front garden was literally not touched because no one had been out there. So I remember waking up, and when I woke up, I had a few missed calls from my friend, and I can remember this morning so clearly just because of how cozy it was, and just them snowy mornings where you wake up, you get some coffee or tea or chocolate or whatever you drink, and you just chill and everything's beautiful. That's why I just remember this so much. So I had a few missed calls from my friend. So I'm like, oh damn, my friend probably wants me to come out and link up with the boys and maybe, go and have a snowball fight or sled somewhere. So I end up calling my friend, and he's like, oh bro, what are you doing now? And I'm like, man, I've literally just woke up. And he's like, it's 10 AM bro, it's snowing. Why are you just waking up? And I'm like, man, I don't actually know, like, I'm just waking up, And he's like, bro, you better get down to the shops now. And the shops wasn't too far, to be honest. If it's snowing, it'll probably take you a bit longer, so I'll probably say 10-15 minute walk max. So I end up getting dressed, I end up having like a drink, looking outside. It's still kind of snowing, it's just drizzling at this point, but the snow is pretty thick outside. So I can remember getting all my coats on, etc., getting everything on, my shoes, how it is, just so I can try and stay as warm as possible, because one thing I really hate is like getting the frostbite on your fingers. Like, that is just horrible, I'm not gonna lie. And on your feet as well. To be honest, mine isn't as bad on my feet as on my hands. My hands always get, like that the worst. I don't know why, it's probably because I wear gloves, and then when we have like a snowball fight, I find it easier to throw, and I can just, mold the snow better when I'm throwing it without gloves on. So yeah, that's probably the reason why, to be honest. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to, that. I end up getting everything on, I end up going to the shop, I'm there, and my friend is literally just there, and I'm like, bro, I thought like, the rest of like, our mates were here, because he said on the phone like him and two others were there, and he was like, oh nah man, they've gone down canal. Apparently there's something going on down the canal where they're skating on the ice. And I'm like, you what? And he was like, yeah, there's a little bit on the canal that's like not moving, like the water doesn't move, and he's frozen over, and they're just running across it and that. And I'm like, man, that's a bit dangerous, don't you think? And he was like, yeah, that's why I never went. That's why I actually ended up calling you, because they were going, so I just thought I'd call you and see what you're up to. I'm like, oh yeah man, fairs. So he was just talking. I went in the shop, I got like a few snacks and that, because I had a bag on my back. I filled my bag up with like drinks, etc. And then after this, me and my friend, we ended up going to a place. It's called the Beacon. It's a pretty kind of, well, it's a bit well known. I won't say it's like well known, but it's basically an area that you can go when it's like snowing. It's full of hills, rocky kind of like slopes, mountains, not big mountains obviously, but just like little mountains, things like that. People take their dirt bikes over there, so it's pretty good. But when it's like snowing and things like that, you can actually go sledding there, you can go like snowboarding. I actually have a pretty funny story to tell you as well. If you want this, very soon I can tell you. It's basically the time I basically knocked myself out snowboarding, and yeah, it was pretty bad. I was sick. Yeah, that's a whole different story though. So yeah, if you want that, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so me and my friend, we end up walking to this beacon. It's not too far. It's probably like a 15-minute walk. We have to go up some hills to get there, so that's what makes it a bit longer. So we're just walking there. We're just casually just messing around along the way. We end up getting to the beacon, and to actually get onto like the point of where you can sled and things, because you obviously have to walk down like a few paths and things like that. There is like this one gate like this green like barrier, and you have to walk through. This basically stops like motorbikes and cars from getting onto there, because people would before anyway try and take the cars over there and do like driftos and things. As we're walking on, we walk through the first gate, everything is fine, and we come to the second gate, and as we're like approaching the second gate, there is two of like these roadmen kind of guys. You can kind of tell by the way they are. I'm not stereotyping, I'm just saying you can kind of tell. So we end up walking towards these, and we're just simply just gonna walk past and go over onto the field where they was coming from. But no, that just couldn't happen, could it? That just could not happen. Like, they tried to basically take a little bit of advantage of us just because we was younger than them. I did later on find out that they were 2 years older. So people in my area, I'm not gonna lie, they're a bit naggy. Like, they don't like to leave you alone if you say no. They just keep on and on and on. So anyways, me and my friend approached these, and this is where we was about to walk through the gate now. So we end up walking past them. Everything was fine. And as I was walking past the one guy, he kind of looked at me and like locked his eyes onto me, and he was like to me, "Oh, you good, bro?" And I'm like, yeah mate, I'm good, to you?" And then we stopped at this point, me and my friend didn't. The guy who he was with, they both stopped. And he was like, "Oh man, does any of you know anyone who wants to buy some like fire shed?" And I was like, "Nah man, I don't, I really don't, like, I don't know anyone, to be honest." And he was like, "Oh bro, come on, you two want some fire shed, don't you?" And I was like, "Nah G, I don't smoke." And he was like, yeah G, you do, I know you do." And I'm like, "Man, I really don't smoke." And at this point I kind of had to put like a hard accent. I don't know if I'm speaking to like a type of person who's like you know, like that, or I tend to kind of like switch my accent towards theirs to kind of, I don't know why I do this. Some of you may do this. I just do this out of nowhere, to be honest. It's just like it automatically happens. And I was like, "Nah G, I really don't." And he was like, yeah you do." And I'm like, "Bro, I really don't." So he asked my friend, he was like, "Oi, do you want to buy this kid?" And my friend was like, "Nah man, I got no money." And he's like, "Oh come on, just a five for this. Just give us a five for this." And I was like to him, "Bro, we don't want to smoke it. My friend's got no money, like, you know." And you're like, "Oh, you waste man, you are." And I was like, "What?" He said, "What?" And I don't know why I said this. My friend was kind of like pulling on me. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was just like, "No." I thought in my head, I stopped and thought, I was like, "No, I can't let him talk to me like this." So I was like, "What the fuck you just say?" And he was like, "You are." And I was like, "What the you just say to us?" And he was like, don't be giving me that attitude, boy." And I was like, "What are you gonna do? What are you actually gonna do?" So his one friend with the belly on was standing there like numbnuts, and I was just looking at this guy, and I was like, "What are you actually gonna do? Like, you come to us, speaking to us, you want us to give you money for your dead ass rotten weed? Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh man, don't get me angry." And I was like, "Get angry then." Just get angry, like, what are you actually gonna do? And he was like, "Oh man, don't test me. So I was like, "Man, move." And he started walking closer to me and closer to me. At this point, he still does have the little baggie like in his hand. And he was like, "Man, I was gonna give you this, you know, for a 5. Like this, I could easily sell this for a 10. And he kind of puts it towards my face. At this point, I could kind of tell he's not hard, or he's not like, he doesn't know what he's doing. A bit dumb, to be honest. So he puts this baggie in my face and he was like, "Oh, go on, smell it." And I was like, "No." And I knocked it out of his hand. And he was like, "What you do that for? What you do that for?" And I was like, "Don't put that in my face." And then they both started coming towards me now. And I was like, "You two better move. And this is where my friend kind of, you know, backed me up and joined in. And it was like, "Yeah, like, just go." And the guy literally tried to swing for me, right? I ducked his swing. And like, I didn't punch him or nothing. I just pushed him over. And then he was like, "Oh, wait till I see you. But like, the push, when I pushed him over, it looked like it hurt. He dropped, like full on dropped. Imagine, yeah, the floor is kind of like icy, and he like landed on his hip bone, and then his friend was standing there like just trying to myself saying, whatever, like, come do something there, and be shouting back and forth now as they're walking off, and I could kind of tell at this point they're not hard, they're not on job. I was just walking off, you know, they were just, you know, looking at me, and I was like, come then, like, come over here. And they wasn't gonna, because they was just wetters, they was wannabes. So anyways, me and my friend, we go over there, we enjoy ourselves, we have, you know, a snowball fight with these guys that we met, and his girlfriend. We was just, you know, chilling over there, everything was good. So the next day, me and my friend, we go back to this place, you know, because it was snowing, and we see these guys, and as we were walking over, they didn't really notice, like, me, but I noticed them. So I was like, bro, come over here, come over here. And the reason I said that is because they were sitting with a guy that I knew. I could kind of see, like, the clothes that he was wearing. I didn't fully know, but I just walked closer to find it anyway. Probably dumb of me, because there was like 4 or 5 of them. So I ended up going over there, and I see the guy I know is like a really safe guy, like one of my bros from ages ago. I go over there and I'm like, yo, what you saying, G? He's like, oh, Izak, my man, what you doing, bro? And I was like, I'm just over here, you know, just chilling, just vibing and that, snowball fights and sledding and that. And he's like, yeah, man, like, and the guy's face from the previous day he was there, he was just looking at me like, who the hell do these guys, like, know each other? Because the guy I knew, he was like a solid guy, like, he was hard and that. So the guys that he was with, they knew not to mess. So yeah, I was just talking to the guy, and I was like, bro, come over here a minute. And he's like, yeah, sure, like, what's wrong? So I was over, like, this little part of the field, just talking to, you know, the guy, and I was like, bro, you know them 2 guys that you were with now, yeah? They tried to force, you know, me and my mate to buy some weed, and yeah, I kind of pushed the guy over, and yeah, he was just piping up and that. Would you see what his problem is? I want to sort this out. And he's like, yeah, man, that's cool. So, you know, we go over, and the guy's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, like, I didn't mean that. And I was like, nah man, it's all cool, but just, like, you can't do that to people. And yeah, my bro, who was like with these, who I went to originally to sort this out, he was like, yeah, G, you better not, you don't mess with Isaac, you know, he's just a young'un, like, you better just leave him. And yeah, that was it. After that, I found out that he was 2 years older. So yeah, he was hanging around with a guy I knew who was there. He told me as well. But yeah, that is the story. If you did enjoy, please do not forget to leave a like. If you had any experiences, please do let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe, turn all bell notifications on.